We were kind of built for this moment. We've always been an army of amazing crisis counselors at home on their couches in their jammies. Crisis text line is 24/7 help at your fingertips. It's all things, so suicide, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, domestic violence. It's a one-stop place for people who are unable to cope productively. One of the best things about Crisis Text Line is that it's not an app. You don't have to download it. You don't have to go through an intake survey or pay something or fill out a long form. It's just text. It's like texting your best friend or your mom. It's in the United States, 741-741. And the first question we ask is, what's your crisis? We're here for your pain. And so that's where we start.
From the very beginning, we believed that there should be an organization in the crisis space built from the ground up around data and technology. We use data internally to inform our decision making and improve our training. So insights like the words brave, smart, and proud are three of the most impactful words that you can share with anyone in crisis, because it shows them how to be strong and helps them stay safe in the future on their own. The second way we use data is externally. We believe that the entire space of mental health, associated journalism, and researchers need compelling, rich data sets that can inform not only identification of the problem, so rates of suicidality, depression, anxiety, but also what works as solutions.
This is a moment for physical distance and social connection. There are these physical things that happen. So the virus, the loss of a job, and then the quarantines happen. And that's good for flattening the curve. But there's also these echoes of mental health issues that we expect to see for a very long time. We've seen the COVID traffic in two waves, basically. The first wave was, or is still, anxiety. And that's largely following the map of the states with the largest number of testing positive cases. So we're seeing a lot of anxiety there. And we always knew, and it has now surfaced, a second wave. The second wave is twofold: the impact of the virus itself. So things like grief, things like asking about their own symptoms. And then secondly, the impact of the quarantines. So before this, we saw 6% of our texters would reference the word home. They would talk about things happening at home. Now 14% of our texters reference the word home, and home has a 2x increase in domestic violence, child abuse, substance abuse, all of these unintended consequences of frankly being trapped at home with abusers and trapped at home away from your self-care routines and mechanisms.
The language that they're using includes words like fear, panic, frantic, intense words of anxiety stemming from coronavirus, and more intense than we've seen in the past associated with anxiety.
The pain is magnified in the most marginalized people. We're seeing the percentage of our LGBTQ texters increase. So now more than 50% of our texters identify as LGBTQ. Secondly, the percentage of texters who are low income has increased. Right now, 32% of people texting us say that their household income is under $20,000. So we are talking to the poorest people in America. Normally, about 5% of our texters identify as Asian, and now that's north of 10%. And that's identified a lot with bullying, harassment, depression. It's a tough time right now with people are being particularly cruel about the origin of COVID-19. But the beautiful thing is typically about 10% of our applicants to be crisis counselors identify as Asian. But right now, people applying to help strangers in pain, 27% of them identify as Asian. It's inspiring and beautiful to see this community of people who are being targeted and harassed and are feeling a lot of pain right now turn that pain into wanting to volunteer to help other people.
Hoping in the case of COVID means identifying a short time frame.
Shrinking this giant overwhelming thing, this giant unknown overwhelming thing into smaller bites of time, like what are you going to do tonight to distract yourself? What's your plan for tomorrow to stay strong? So tonight and tomorrow is really helpful in people feeling stronger.
Another one is how to create routines and establish habits. So talking about sleep, talking about exercise on a regular basis. And the third thing I would say that we've seen helping texters is normalizing pain. So using phrases like, it's normal to feel freaked out right now, or yeah, it's okay to feel stressed out today, saying it's okay to feel it, it's normal.
There's some good news here. There's some things that we've discovered. So in the 15 states with the highest COVID rates, we've seen a word that's pretty hopeful. They're using the word courage. That's pretty nice to see. And then there's one word that really makes me feel good that we're seeing as a positive word, and that's the word mom. It's that grounding in family relationships, and that's kind of great.